Good evening, world. At least it's evening where we are. Didn't think I was going to have an opportunity to do a live stream while we were driving tonight, but we ended up, plans changed a little bit from what we thought was going to happen. We're taking a different drive home where we're actually going to have some cell service, so we ought to be able to broadcast most of the way. Be kind of like last night. I might fade in and out in a couple areas, but for the most part, we'll be all right. Wow.
What town is that? Never. What town is that?
That's not a town.
It's just a water tower.
Where? Right here?
Over there.
Oh, that's Niobrara.
That's what I thought.
I've already got comments. They were. I was driving. Calavera stepping on gun gals. I'm not stepping on nothing. I don't expect anybody's gonna stop watching gun gals and watch me. What the heck are you doing here? Why aren't you watching gun gals? This thing will be on later. I guess gun gals on later. Many things, so I just thought, what the heck? We'll go live a little bit. And look, there's already 3 of you that still give a crap what I have to say. So. Night Wolf, hey, things are good. Oh, Calaveras, you said something. I didn't catch what it was. Hold on, I'm driving across a bridge. I didn't catch what it was. Crossing the state line right here. I'm driving across a bridge. I didn't catch what it was. Sandhills sweetheart's trying to find their volume, but you can always just pause.
Gun gal starts. Should ask
Oh, good. I got somebody reading comments again.
Sandhills sweetheart if she might be interested in joining sometime. Gun gal starts in a few minutes.
Oh, it starts in a few minutes. Well, Liz, if you ever are watching this, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to quark you. Just decided to go live because talking keeps me from getting sleepy. And this way, if sweetheart wants to take a nap or whatever, then I'll still have somebody to talk to. So.
And the connection is going in and out.
That's because my phone is switching over. Hopefully it's better by now. Crossing the Missouri River where we just did, coming from South Dakota back into Nebraska, my phone switches carriers right there. And so I should be back on my home carrier now. And off of
Look at that sunset.
Off of AT&T. Dude, I gotta share this sunset with you guys. Hold on here. Let me make this flip around. Look at that Nebraska sunset. Those are some backwaters of Lewis and Clark Lake on the Missouri River. We just left Springfield, South Dakota. We're now headed towards Niobrara, Nebraska. And if that's not one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen, then you must be straight from heaven itself, because that's pretty right there. All right. We're in Sweetheart's vehicle this time, not mine. So if I got a choice between showing you that thing out of focus or my ugly mug, so I guess you're stuck with me, guys. I'm sorry.
Are we gonna go through Neely?
We're not gonna go through Neely. Do we need to? We can.
But I thought if we were that close, we'd stop and see Mom and Dad.
Do you want to? It's already 20 till 9. But we can knock 20 minutes off the trip if we don't go through Neely. We can knock 3 hours off the trip if we don't go through Clearwater. I really hope your mom and dad aren't ever going to watch this.
I really kind of wanted to talk to Dad about this idea, but I don't know if I want to do it tonight. I do, but I don't.
Yeah, I know. That might be something that we could make a trip out one of these evenings too, if it helps.
Not really.
No, we can't. Anyway.
Maybe.
What was that? You wish, does Calavera say he wishes he could move out of California?
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I've been to California.
Ladies are starting later, guys.
Oh, well, look at that. Y'all can stay and hang out with us longer. That's nice. Once Gun Gals gets going, anybody that wants to ditch
They're
me...
starting right now.
What, later? Now? I'm confused. Anyway, if anybody
The
wants
ladies are starting, period, later, guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with anybody ditching me. That's what I was going to say. I understand. It's all right. Rocking the old gun channels patch today on the hat. In God we trust on the back. But yeah, no. Sandhills Sweetheart has really no desire to actually be part of a chat. She might make some comments in the written chat there on the side, but as far as actually getting a link and talking and things like that, she's not what I would classify as a gun gal, at least not yet. My goal is to get her there. It's not that the desire isn't there. If you guys have ever heard me whine on Travis's caliber, there's no place close by to where we live to where we can go shoot. There's no public ranges. Indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. There's nothing close by. The only one that is remotely close is 20 miles away from where we live, which I wouldn't mind it. I'd drive that far. But from what I've been told, it's exclusive, and the waiting list to get a membership to that gun club is it's about 2 to 3 years out. And I haven't even applied or put my name on the list. There's another range that I think for you guys have already seen the sunset. The Nebraska flat. This is that part. I was going to have some trouble holding on to signal. Driving through river hills and rough country and cell signal doesn't always mix. At least not in rural Nebraska where there aren't towers every 2 feet. Somebody just chucked their empty drink cup right out on the road. I hate when I see that. Well, maybe they've got 18 kids.
Oh, there's a 6-bedroom.
So, yeah, we're back again. Good deal. Somebody's still hanging with me. I got one viewer. I don't know who it is. I can't see you unless you make a comment. And I got no viewers. Goodbye, viewer. Oh, one back. Is this the same person kind of bouncing in and out? Are you watching two chats? Are you with me sometimes? Or is this different people? Who's out there? Richard Chamberlain. Hey, I loved you in the Thornbirds, dude. You were really good. That really dated me right there. It's a mini-series from the 70s. I've only seen it on reruns, and I haven't seen the whole thing. Nightwolf's still with me. He's hanging tough. Also, it really just dated me because I just heard that song in my head. So, yep, headed home. Like I said, we're taking a different route than what we originally planned on, and so we are able to go live. I said last night that I didn't think we'd be able to, because if we had taken a different road home, we'd be within 5 miles of town before the signal was good enough to, maybe not 5 miles, but still, it wouldn't have been a very long road trip where I had everybody with me, so I wasn't even planning on doing it. Hooked up to the old dash mount. Probably getting some pretty good shaky picture going on right now. Back up to 3 viewers. See if I can find any good comments coming through. So it's not that. Oh, Richard Chamberlain is not that gay guy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply anything about sexual preference. In fact, I'm not even sure I realized that actor was gay. I don't really care. I don't care if somebody's gay or not. As long as they don't try to stick it in me, I don't care. I got friends who are gay. They don't hit on me. It's alright. Which kind of gives me a complex. Why wouldn't the gay guy hit on me? I thought I was sexier than that, but no. Tell you what, the gay guys that I know are very, very polite. They would never hit on somebody and make, unwelcome advances the way that straight guys do to women all the time. I mean, my buddies, they're cool. Can't wrap my head around it. I mean, I understand that people, there are dudes that like other dudes, and I get that. I just don't understand how. I've never looked at a dude and thought, I want to kiss that guy. No. Nope, I'm into women. So
Good.
my wife is very glad about that. But no, I've got a friend that I said that to one time. I said, I can't understand the attraction, but that a man would have towards another man, because we're nasty, we're gross. Women are pretty and they smell good and they're soft, and I don't know why a guy wouldn't want that, but I understand that some of them don't. And my buddy said, well, you hit it right on the head, though. It's an attraction thing. I said, a hairy butt, see, again, not into that at all. Body hair like that, no. Even like when Brad Pitt is shirtless in a movie, like, my junk doesn't twitch at all, like, not even a little. Dudes don't do it for me. And I can understand where women are coming from that are like, yeah, Brad Pitt, good looking guy or whatever, but nah. Probably should find a better topic. This is kind of going nowhere. What was that last one? I didn't. My co-pilot put her phone down and she's not reading comments to me now. I feel kind of like Hank Strange. You know how Lola's always working off the camera during Hank shows, like making him look like he knows what he's doing? I understand completely, because my wife makes me look like I know what I'm doing most of the time too, or as much as I ever look that way. But Lola's always right there to kind of just off the camera to kind of keep things going.
I got no issue with race, religion, or sexuality. Just don't force it on me.
Yep, bingo. You do you, boo-boo, and I'm going to do me. That doesn't mean I'm not going to talk about it. I'll talk about religion. I'm a Christian. I'm not afraid of it. That's why wives are awesome. I second that. Although I had more than one wife in the past that was not awesome, now I finally know what an awesome wife is like. So, it's life is good. Those of you that are watching, most of you probably are already aware, but we celebrated 1 year of marriage yesterday. So for 365 days and counting, Sandhills' sweetheart has not realized that she could have done so much better. And don't tell her either, guys. I just assume she never figures it out. I'm married so far out of my league. Nope, it's been a good year. It's been fast. Doesn't feel like 365 days have gone by. Just passed a sign. Watch out for horse and buggy or horse and carriage. It's part of Nebraska. There is actually a small Amish community, and so it really is common to see a horse and buggy out on the road.
I had relationships in the past were the worst, and now I've been with my girlfriend 2 years, and it's awesome.
Good for you. Who is that?
Night Wolf.
Night Wolf. Rock on, buddy. Yep, exactly. But here's the deal. If I hadn't had those bad relationships, and don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to admit it. But if I hadn't had those bad relationships, and eat it. And we're back. Okay, looked like we had some reconnection issues there. We were just commenting there was a big old snapping turtle, probably about that big, a round shell, splattered in the middle of the road of the highway. he didn't make it across.
We get grain combines.
You what?
We get grain combines.
Get grain combines?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's in regards to.
Oh, instead of the horse-drawn buggies. Yeah, we get those too. Yeah, I know. I'm back though. Heading south down Highway 14. But Sandhills Sweetheart wanted to go back and grab that snapper and take him home. You know, it looked like a pretty fresh kill. I said, no. Number one, we don't know how many hours he was sitting out in the sun. And number two, the way I've never eaten snapping turtle, but I've always heard you can't just, you can't just catch them and clean them. You've got to let them sit in fresh water and keep changing the water out for at least a week, kind of like a catfish. Get all the mud and stuff out. But they've got to be alive to get all that crap out, because they've got to process it, fresh water through their system.
Oh, that makes sense.
So you can't just soak them in brine or something. So I know nothing about preparing snap. I'm not opposed to eating it. I'm not opposed to trying any meat once, unless it is a shellfish, because I mean, I've tried oyster before, I've tried clam before, and I can't. So I'm going to take it on good faith that I'm never going to try mussels, because I can't see where it would be a whole lot different. But aside from that, I can't think of any meat, actual mussel anyway. Organ meat, no, I don't do liver. Never had heart, but actual striated mussel. Well, just all the parts where I was going to lose people. You know, if I'm watching a video on YouTube streaming, I generally don't have that buffering issue on this part of the road. So apparently, it takes more bandwidth to stream up than it does to download and stream down. Of course, the buffer, I get that. It's easier to listen to a podcast because of the buffering. But every time I lose you, I'm going to reconnect. Oh, goodness. So, what's going on in the world? Anybody have anything they want to talk about? We'll do our best to keep up with comments and whatnot. Wouldn't give us teeth if we weren't supposed to eat meat. That's right. Well, here's the other thing, too, is if we weren't supposed to eat these animals, God wouldn't have made them so dang delicious. Every time I see a deer, my stomach growls a little bit, because I'm thinking, backstrap. If I see pig, bacon. I have a friend on Facebook who apparently she got a small load of feeder pigs in. She must be gonna fatten them up and sell them or butcher or something. But she had a picture of one of her gilts, which is a young female pig, who was actually pretty friendly and comes up to the fence, and you can pet her, and she'll roll over and let you scratch her on the belly and stuff. And this friend of mine is actually, I know her because she's friends with my cousin. My cousin comments, how can you possibly eat that? And I said, well, with mashed potatoes, or maybe some baked apples. And I got a few laughs there on Facebook. My cousin was not impressed, but I think somebody else commented with a fork. So, yeah, we established yesterday. I look at animals a little bit differently than some people do, but these things they're well taken care of. They're not abused. They're not left out in the elements. They're not malnourished or starved or beaten. raises livestock. They take good care of it. Or they don't last long doing it. If they don't, I mean, it's in everyone's best interest to keep the animal's best interest in mind. So what else, guys? I don't want this to turn into a food chat or an answer. So what else is going on? Anybody have any questions for myself? Anything you're just dying to know about? Had a good day today. Those of you that have been following along on Instagram or Facebook, you've seen the pictures of my plans for the rest of the night there. We're going to go home, and I know there's some laundry we need to get finished up, and I think we're not doing a whole lot else. Not that I've heard about anyway. Between yesterday, we had to leave home at we were shooting for 10 o'clock. I think we were out of town by 10:30 to get on the road to go do the wedding and the dance and stuff that we did yesterday. And then today we had to be on the road and go meet some more potential clients. We did get one more booking for next year. Tell you what, this DJ business, we're not big time. We're professional, but we're not big time. It's Sandhills sweetheart and myself, and we have a partner a couple towns over, a friend of ours, and when possible, his wife, and it's help him out sometimes. People still get miss her, sad, so have to start somewhere. Yeah, we're about as we've got this year's pretty well completely filled in, at least for ourselves. I think our partner may have a few weekends where he's not booked, and we have filled for next year already.
We're getting close.
We've got bookings as far out as October 2019. Can't take any bookings in November 2019 just because we are hopefully, Lord willing, and they're going to be in November 2019. We're going to save the money up. We're not putting in this trip on a credit card. We're going to just put the money away so we can just pay for this trip, which is why we're not taking it this year. But a year ago tomorrow night we left for Jamaica on our honeymoon, and wow, what a great place to be. Beautiful, all-inclusive resort, super friendly staff, no major hurdles on the flights going to Jamaica or coming home. Nothing that was too terrible. No problems in the air, I'll say that much.
Amazing friends that went with us.
Some good friends of ours. They were part of our wedding party, and they celebrated their 10th anniversary last summer. And so when we were looking at packages to go to Jamaica, we figured it was actually cheaper to book 4 people than 2, and we said, hey, do you guys want to join us? Here's what the cost is going to be per couple if we do it that. And they said, well, yeah, let's just do that. And so they went down to Jamaica. We're going to be down there it was actually cheaper to stay 2 extra days at the resort and fly home on a Monday than it was to fly on the weekend. The airfare would have been more than the cost of 2 more nights at the resort. So we got down there on Tuesday. We left on Monday, the following Monday, of course, to come back home, and didn't have to pay weekend rates for flights. And we said, you can go. We can go hang out some of the time together, and you guys can go do your thing, apart, and we can do our thing apart, and just kind of spend a week. And I tell you what, we're still talking about it. We're still going on and on about it a year later, and how we can't wait to go back. I'm not going to try to find not even going to try to find a different resort to check out. We're plumb happy with and they actually have a wall of fame at that resort of the people who have been there 10 or more times, and there's a couple there that have been there, I think, over 50 times, they said on it. And they update the pictures once you're on the wall of fame. Every time you come back, you get a new picture and update the number of times that you've been to the resort. So clearly they know how to take care of their guests at that resort. So if you're ever going to be heading to Jamaica, go to Negril, the west coast of Jamaica, and stay at couples resorts. Couples Swept Away. There's two couples resorts in Negril. There's Couples Negril and Couples Swept Away. And the Swept Away is more if you're looking for the low-key, the laid-back experience, if you want to do a lot more activities. Couples Negril, No, what?
Couples Negril is for older people.
Oh, we had upwards. Ours was not the laid-back one?
No.
Okay, well. See, I don't know things. That's why I have a wife, guys. Couples Swept Away was the one that had the stuff going on. But you don't have to. You could spend the whole day just sitting and sipping drinks. It's all inclusive. You can't even tip these people. They're not allowed to take tips, the bar staff or wait staff. Six different places to eat. And there's only about a 3-hour window out of 24 hours where there's nothing open to get something, a great place to go. So Couples Swept Away. Yes, that is why wives are awesome. I know. I have an awesome one. I have the best one ever. Couples Negril is more if you're looking to do whatever old people do, I guess. Shuffleboard, I don't know. Sit and bitch about the weather, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what old people do. I'm a long ways away from being old people. I hope.
I didn't say old, I said older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the old fogey. Either way, with a couples resort, I'm gonna venture a guess that probably any couples resort is gonna be the same experience as far as top-notch staff. Super friendly. They all greet you with a smile. Do you remember the way that people used to greet you in Walmart? The way they're supposed to? They're supposed to smile and acknowledge. And Sweetheart is much better looking, but she doesn't want me to turn the camera towards her. And so nobody gets to see her either. She's kind of like G-Webs. You can hear her voice, and I'll vouch for the fact that she is a real human being, but you don't get to see her. You don't get to see her face. So she's just G-Webs is the man behind the curtain, and Sandhills Sweetheart is the lady off the side of the camera, I guess. So pay no attention to the lady off the side of the camera. And I don't know why you want to look at my ugly mug, so no, I'm not turning on the light. Besides, I got to be able to see the deer. You're gonna get me lit up by the dash light glow, and that's gonna be it. Yes, I'm gonna be your paradise with the dashboard lights. And talk to you as they walk past you, or you walk past them in the aisle. That's how it is with the people at the couples resorts. They all greet you. They all smile. They all ask how you're doing, if they can get you anything. People, the housekeeping staff, as they're walking between the buildings, the guest rooms are all in different buildings at the resort we were in, not just one big building. And you're walking down the sidewalk between these buildings, and there's a lady pushing a cart full of dirty linens, and she's heading off to goes to the laundry, and hey, how's your stay going? Can we get you anything? What can we help you with? Like, she's not a waitress, she's not a bartender, but they're all that friendly. How's your stay? How long you been here? Is this your first time on the island? So no, they're super, super friendly people. At least the ones at the Swept Away, they're swept away. That's all I can vouch for. But I
have a friend that goes to Negril.
Sweetheart knows someone who goes to the couples Negril. Getting hard to watch the buffering. Is it still buffering?
We could just end it and talk to him.
Dude, maybe I need to just pull the plug, I guess. I didn't realize that it was still going to buffer where we are. Not now. Okay. I guess if it persists. I love my Samsung phone. They put everything in this thing except for a dang antenna. Other phones get way better service. Yeah, definitely in certain areas. Yeah, we're learning what those areas are. Gonna be as bad as it was. I probably would have kept my original plan and not gone live. But you know what? We could have hung out together. So
yeah, I can't even look.
Maybe the iPhone isn't any better right there. We are a mixed household. I love my Samsung phones. Right now, you guys are coming through on my Galaxy S8 Plus. However, Sweetheart prefers the dark side, the Apple, the iOS. So she's rocking that iPhone. But I sell phones for a living. I work for a regional cell phone carrier based in Colorado. I'm up here in Nebraska. And so, there's no shortage of phones or access to phones in our house. And because I sell them and people come in and need help with their phone, and I need to know how to, I've got an iPhone at home. I don't use it. There's no SIM card in it that's active, but of course it works on Wi-Fi. But I keep it as iOS updates and things like that, so I know how to run the thing. I know how to navigate menus and whatnot. Plus, we use iPads for our DJ service. Everything that I play, it's off of an iPad and not off of a laptop. So that helps. There's a red blinky light in the ditch. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, somebody's riding a bicycle. Good deal. Well, thank goodness they're not riding that thing in the dark without a light to let people know they're there. The other day, I was driving down the road. It was a very narrow road, and it wasn't like a 45 mile an hour. It was a spur off of the highway into a town. The town sits half a mile off the highway, and there's just a little spur going into the town. And no shoulder on this road, or no paved shoulder, I mean. And we're only going about 45 miles an hour heading out to the highway. But this person's walking down the road, and if you know proper walking, I don't know, is etiquette? Is it walking etiquette? If you're a pedestrian and you're walking along a road, you need to be on the left-hand side of the road, not the right-hand side. And this person was on the right-hand side. Now, if you're in a vehicle, of course, yeah, right-hand side. A bicycle is considered a vehicle. But if you're walking, you actually need to be on the the traffic that's going to be nearest you. You see them coming, not the ones that come up behind you. And there just wasn't any room on the shoulder of that road for that person to be walking without me having to swerve, just for safety's sake. Slow down, swerve around them. Had they been across the road from me, I wouldn't have had to do that. There's your public service announcement for the night. If you're going to go walking and there's no sidewalk, then walk on your left-hand side of the road, so that it looks like you're kind of walking into traffic. But if there's a car coming, you're going to see them, and you can get out of the way or get off to the side. Even if you're listening to headphones, things like that. That's going to go back into my whole rant about not being aware of your surroundings too. Be aware of your surroundings, especially ladies. Anybody who's in a high crime or a higher likelihood for crime area, look around. Don't be walking and texting. That's just asking for trouble. Even if nobody attacks you, that's just how you walk into things, or you walk off curbs that you shouldn't, or whatever. I complain about stuff. I'm the guy that sells the phone too. But still, don't text and walk. Don't text and drive.
That's dumb on their part, being on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, that is dumb on their part. Again, texting, that's kind of like texting and driving. You're just asking for something bad to happen. And I can't remember now if that person was walking or running, but I mean, you roll your foot on a rock and you lose your footing and you fall, and there's nothing I could have done. Even though I was slowed down, at 35 miles an hour, there's no stopping in time if somebody falls right in front of my car. So I guess that's part of being in the gun crowd, though. I guess by nature, we look out for people. That's why I carry my gun, because I look out for people. Me being the first one, of course, and Sandhills Sweetheart being the other first one. But then anybody. I would do what I had to keep anybody from losing their life or their virtue. But that's also part of just being from the rural part of Nebraska too. We care about each other. A lot of people think it's nosy, and it is, I guess, to a point, being nosy. People want to know each other's business, but it's also because they care. I know where I grew up, a lot of people, for whatever reason, if they moved in the area, into the area from out of state or from a big town, they just weren't. Cops are hard to carry, and I don't really have a holster that'll fit a cop.
Not just pedestrians, it's idiot drivers too.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for everybody on the road. That's true. But rural Nebraska, and I would venture a guess, probably rural America as a whole, people know each other's business. There's nothing else going on, so you just will watch what's happening, to people around the neighborhood. But yeah, a lot of people thought, everybody was just being nosy and getting all in their business, and that's just how small communities work. Everybody knows everybody's business. Nothing stays secret long. It is nice, though, being in a town the size of Norfolk. We about 25,000 people, give or take. It's small enough that it's not a big town, and you can get anywhere across it in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes from edge to edge, maybe. But but it's big enough that the whole town doesn't know your business and doesn't care who you are. So that's kind of nice too. Definitely different than where I grew up. Of course, I grew up in a place where we didn't have school buses unless there was a school activity, you know, to haul athletes to, or, you know, speech, drama, things like that. But there wasn't a school bus picking kids up in the morning and taking them to school and bringing them home in the afternoon. It still isn't where I came from. So when I was in high school, I had to drive 22 miles one way, which meant that if I goofed around in town, I still had that 22-mile drive home. And if I did something wrong, you know, the old joke in a small town, you do something wrong and your parents...
I prefer small towns rather than cities.
Yeah, me too. You know, you do something wrong and your parents know about it before you're done doing it because somebody's already called them. Well, in my case, not only was that true, but, you know, it was almost a half-hour drive home. Well, if I drove the speed limit, it would have been. I was dumb and invincible back then. But not only did they know about it before I was done doing it, but then they had time to figure out what they were going to do about it before I even got home. So I didn't get away with a whole lot. I didn't try to get away with a whole lot, though. I was the boring kid in high school. Trying to be good. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't really ever get a chance to go to parties. Hence the no smoking or drinking. Didn't even chew tobacco. Never had a desire to do any of that. Still not much of a drinker because of that. Never got started, really. But I like tending bar. I'm not a teetotaler. Can't stand drunks, but if people know how to handle themselves and don't have too many, I love tending bar. It's kind of like this. We just get to talk. You know, you get to know people that come in, talk to them a little bit, find out what their story is. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. But you get to listen to a lot of stuff. You get to make some cool drinks. Forgot most of what I ever knew, though. It's been a long time. But that's me. I'm that guy that people want to talk to, apparently. Good. It's finally getting dark enough. Nobody can really see me. You can? Now, Sandhills sweetheart can see me. That's alright. She already knows what I look like, too. Kind of been a busy weekend. Sometimes weekends we actually... Never mind me. Road's kind of narrow here. That was a good-sized pickup that we just met. Night wolf, drink occasionally, but you know how to limit yourself. That's all I saw.
I drink occasionally, but I know how to limit myself. I know people who can't take a drink and limit themselves.
Yeah, I think we all know people like that, Night Wolf. It happens. That's why it's on us to be that buddy to make sure that they get home safe. You know, don't let them drive. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. Thanks for bright lighting me, a-hole. Mine were already on dim because of that last vehicle. That's always fun. Hope there's no deer on the shoulder now. I can't freaking see. There's the shoulder. I found that again. It makes a funny sound when I get close to it. So yeah. Yep. I like to go out and hang out with my friends in the bar atmosphere. Not the noisy bar that everybody wants to hang out at, that it's just you can't even talk and you have to fight your way up to the bar to get a drink. Not that kind of bar. Just a nice quiet dive bar. That's my speed right there. Where you walk in and doesn't matter what time of day or what day it is, you walk in, it's the same 3 guys sitting up there at the bar swapping the same stories every time. That's my kind of bar. It's not very bright in there, but that's all right. Probably ain't the cleanest, but I'm not planning on eating off that floor anyway. Place to collect your thoughts, yep. Exactly. A place where you can meet up with friends and shoot a game of pool or throw a game of darts or some shuffleboard, what have you, and just talk and hang out and laugh. Nobody has to yell over the crowd or over the jukebox. It's playing, it's just not too loud, you can't talk. Kind of missing Dart League this year. We decided we were going to sit a season out, and our friends that went to Jamaica were normally on a dart team with them. But we always miss it. By the time it starts up in September, we always are ready for it to start, but then it goes until usually April or May. Is our league. Okay, there we're back. Normal offering right here. That's right here. We just decided not to spend that money because we're saving up for some stuff. Like I said, trip to Jamaica, things like that. And it'd cost us anywhere from $30 to $50 a week to go throw darts. So we just decided not to spend that money this year. It's not the darts. I'm not that good. Sandhills sweetheart threw for 1 season, and she's a natural. I wish I was as good my first season as she was. And she'd never thrown darts before, ever. Before that she threw with us. And we'd been out to the bar the week before and threw a couple games, and that was the first time she'd ever thrown a dart at a dartboard. And I wish I was that good when I first picked up darts and started throwing. But that's all right. I learned a long time ago I don't have athletic talent. That's why I've always tried to be that funny guy instead. But it's not about throwing the darts. It's just getting together once a week with some friends, hanging out, meeting new people on these other teams, getting to know them over the course of a couple of years, throwing darts, Wedding that we did here a while back in December. I think it was December. Anyway, the maid of honor at that wedding, I recognized her from Dart League, and she's actually in Las Vegas right now. They went to the national tournament. 2 teams from the bar that sponsored them. Each bar has a certain amount of teams, 2 or 4 or half dozen that they sponsor. I just can't shoot darts. But no, 2 teams from our town went out to the national dart tournament in Vegas, and they ended up in their division. One team took 4th place, the team with the lady that we know, and then the other team from here went out there and took 1st in their division. So congratulations to the Harbor Bar teams, doing so well in the national dart tourney. Good job, you guys. Good on you. So that's pretty cool. That's on the old bucket list, to go to Vegas. Sweetheart's been there. I've never been. She's been a lot of places that I've never been. Most of my travels were for work, and they were mostly within the state of Nebraska. I've been to a lot of places in Nebraska, though. A lot of little cheap motels doing sales work, you know, living out of a motel for a week. Really don't miss that schedule. I used to leave town. Can't believe everybody else is ducked out because I keep buffering.
I think that's me, babe.
No, now it shows 0.
Well, I'm buffering, so that's probably why.
Oh, okay. Well then. I might not even publish this one. I might just delete this one. It's got a couple likes though.
That was one of them.
Thank you. Well, there's a chance, I suppose, somebody might decide to sit through this after the fact. Nightwolf's enjoying it. Are you still with me? Oh, there it shows you're back. Nightwolf's enjoying it. I feel like I'm doing the lion's share of the talking. That or you're saying stuff and I'm just missing it because I'm looking at the road. That could be some of it too. That's the bad part about going live from your phone is even if I wanted to send somebody a link to join me and we could just have an impromptu live discussion about something, I can't do that when I go live from my phone on YouTube. So it's not a Hangouts chat. Unless there's a way to do it that I'm not aware of, I'd be happy to know how. But there are that thinks that I didn't dim my lights, but they're already on dim. Mountain Dew. It's good, and it's good for you. I don't know about the good for you part either, but it's good. It's good for those around me when I feed my caffeine addiction. I'm not going to lose concentration on your account. When you keep your messages short like that, I can glance down, read them real quick, look back at the road. If a guy writes a novel in one message, even if I wasn't driving, it fades out too quick on my phone before I can read the whole thing. So if you make a comment that should garner a response and I don't respond to it, then feel free to give me repeat questions if you need to. Coming up to a town, there's actually some cars on the road. Somebody was commenting last night as we're driving down the road at, 12:30 a.m. I guess it was this morning. 12:30 a.m. Not much for traffic. Well, no, not out in Podunk, Nebraska. I just met 3 cars in a row. That's about half the traffic I've seen since I turned onto this highway. All at once. Down here. Big little town of Pierce, Nebraska is where we are. Home of the Blue Jays. you guys don't get to see it. I don't have a phone mount in this car that I can get you up above the level of the dash. It's just a vent mount is all I have. And this 2011 Taurus. Guys or ladies driving home from work? Oh, driving home from something probably. This town, this is somewhat of a bedroom community of the town where we live. Let's see, Pierce has, there's the sign right there. Almost 1,800, just shy of 1,800 people. And it's mostly a bedroom community. There are a few businesses here in town, but nothing major. Most everybody drives into Norfolk for shopping, for work. They have a good school system from what I've heard here. They seem to be pretty good with their sports. Seems like they go to state playoffs a lot in any given sport. So they must do well with their athletics, but once we get past this town, then yeah, we'll see some people that are probably driving home from the big town. The big town, 25,000 people. I don't know where Norfolk ranks as far as size of the town in Nebraska, but it's one of the bigger towns. There's a few that are bigger. Lincoln and Omaha, obviously.
Grand Island.
And Grand Island is the third largest in the state. Again, unless the Huskers are playing. If the Huskers are playing, then Memorial Stadium is the third largest populated area in the state. Although that's technically still inside Lincoln, but that's an old Nebraska joke there. They're saying, because Memorial Stadium holds almost twice as many people as Grand Island, which is our third largest population. But there aren't that many towns outside of Omaha's suburbs, which in my mind, it's all Omaha. It's all the metro area. There's almost 500,000 people in Omaha and surrounding suburbs. And when the state has 1.5 million people, a third of them are in Omaha. Which is why we have some of the dumb gun laws that we do. Because at 500,000 people, Omaha is really the only urban area we've got in our state. But the mindset, the mentality is just completely different than almost the whole rest of the state. Even Lincoln isn't that big of a town. They're what, 250,000? So, I mean, Lincoln's a good sized town, but at the same time, the people still act like small town people for the most part. At least the ones
driving.
Except, well, the driving is the driving gets a little nuts, but of course it's a college town, and it's got a couple 100,000 people, and there's no fast way to get across Lincoln, so everybody drives as fast as they can to get across Lincoln. But the driving in Lincoln is nothing compared to Omaha. I mean, Omaha really does compare to big city driving. The little bit that I've seen or done, and Lincoln really doesn't compare to that. So people do drive faster there than, say Norfolk where we live, but in Norfolk people drive a lot faster than out in the sticks where I came from too. So it's always an adjustment. The smaller your town, the more laid back things are, and the slower people drive, typically. Okay, there. Not a bad sized town. No, it's not bad. I'm not sure which one you're meaning. If you're meaning Norfolk, it's not bad. Like I said, it's big enough that we're, you're relatively a nobody unless, it's within your own circle of friends. But there's enough people there that everybody doesn't know everybody, but small enough that people are still nice. People are still friendly. You get to a big enough town, and when somebody talks to a perfect stranger, they get a look like, who are you, and why do you think I want to waste my breath talking to you? How dare you talk to me? And it's not like that where we live. It's not like that in most of Nebraska. Even Omaha's really not like that. I think Nebraskans are just pretty cool. And real friendly. And I've heard stories from people that have come from other parts of the country or other parts of the world that thought that people were really creepy, and they're just being friendly. Where all the gun gals chat is going. Is this still going on? Wait. Really didn't mean to walk on them. I started to say I met those ladies, most of them, down in Tulsa at the Wanamaker show. Jill's went outdoors. Shane and Liz were there. Gunpowder Beauty, Tardop were there. Life, Clover Tack were there. I don't think anybody that gets on the Gun Gals chat, it's those three, were there. Row Call 219 has I don't think they're married, I think significant other. Anyway, and I know I met her and learned her name, and now I'm drawing a blank, but she was there with Row Call. Tell you what, everybody that I in Tulsa from the Gun Channels crew, I mean, everybody, if you watch the videos and you see how people are, I mean, that's the real them, any of them. That's the real person. 2 people watching, only 1 commenting. Yes, I've noticed that, but the other one watching could be Sandhills' sweetheart. Are you still on with your phone? No, she's not now. Okay, that's not her then. Yeah, well, now we're really curious who else is watching. Make a comment. Do you know how to comment there? Are you on your phone? If you're on a computer, then you should be able to make a comment on the side there. If you're on a phone, tilt your phone vertical, and then underneath the list of next videos, it should say top chat or live chat, something like that. If you tap on that, the chat pops up, and you can type at the bottom there. Let us know who you are, where you are. Oh, nope, you scared them off. Looks like it's just you and me now, Nightwolf. I don't know how long of a delay there is either on that little counter. It shows me at the top of my screen there. But I've got 3 thumbs up. I appreciate that. I don't know that this deserves a thumbs up. Great. Look at all the friends that I've made just by putting up a couple dumb videos on YouTube. Being my normal goofy self, people apparently want to watch, want to listen, hear what I have to say. So, it ain't worth much, but here it is, huh? So what else is going on, Nightwolf? What do you want to talk about while you got me here? That's right. You can comment without me missing. That's true. What else is going on there? What should we talk about? we're just gonna do a real quick thing with Night Wolf watching here. I guess nobody else is watching right now to get in on this. But just ask me anything. I'm not promising I'm gonna answer it though. What's my carry gun day? What's my carry gun 9 out of 10 days? Is an M&P Shield 9mm. And I have done 0 modifications to this gun. It is factory stock with 2 exceptions. I did get a stainless steel guide rod assembly from ssguiderod.com, and I have put Talon grips on the gun, the rubber, and that was the first gun I applied the Talon grips to, and I love them so much that I got a set for my Glock 19 Gen 4. Applied those as well. And I really like them. I don't like the sandpaper finish. I've got the rubberized finish. But the shield felt really good in my hand. And I know a lot of people complain about the trigger, but I've never had a problem. I really like the trigger. And mine's just the regular first generation Shield 9mm. People complain about the reset. Well, I don't listen for the reset on the trigger, and I can feel it. So anybody who complains that the reset isn't very easy to detect or to hear it or whatever, I don't know what you're smoking, or if my gun just got a unique trigger. But I can feel it when it resets. I can hear it when it resets, and that hinged trigger, hinged in the middle instead of the little flipper tab like a Glock, doesn't bother me a bit. The trick is, just remember this thing isn't a hammer. You got to be a little nice to her and squeeze the trigger and don't jerk the trigger back. And you know what? It's never felt to me like I was going to stress the trigger and break it. If that ever happens, maybe I'll look into an Apex or something like that. But I used to be part of a Facebook group of Shield owners, and I left the group because every other picture was somebody with an Apex trigger installed, and then they had the Hive magazine extensions. And all of a sudden, the reason I'm carrying a Shield is because it's small and I can make it disappear. And all of a sudden, you're taking this skinny little single stack gun and adding 2-3 inches to the end of the butt and all this stuff. And I don't know how people are carrying that and concealing it as easily, because that's the part that I always print, is the butt. And I don't even carry with my extended magazine in. I carry that in a sticky holsters magazine pouch in my front pocket for my offhand. But I carry the flush fit mag. But I don't have very big hands either. I know a lot of people can't shoot the Shield with that flush fit magazine and get all 3 fingers on the grip. I'd say all 4, but one of them's got to go up to the trigger. Which are the 3 fingers. Not everybody can fit them all on the grip with the flush fit magazine, but I can. I can get at least half, a little bit more than half of my pinky finger on the base plate of that magazine. I don't have any problems with controllability. And I've heard that old argument that the pinky isn't actually helping you control the gun anyway. It's all in your head. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I can hold on to it just fine. So I carry with my 7-rounder, 7+1, and then I've got 8 more rounds in my pocket. Not that I expect I'm ever going to get into a shootout and need 16 rounds, but I try to keep my spare mag loaded with ammo from a different box, a different lot number, so that just in case I have some bad ammo, something like that, if I need to drop that mag, I've still got a magazine that hopefully won't fail me. So just in case you ever need it. It's a skinny little magazine. That sticky holsters mag pouch doesn't flop around in my pocket. It pretty well stays right where I put it. I can reach into my pocket, grab that spare mag out, and get right back to taking care of business if I need to. So that's my carry gun today, is the Shield. Factory stock, aside from the guide rod and spring and the Talon grips that are installed. But the other time, if I'm not carrying the Shield, it's going to be my Glock 19, and I'll do that. Now, I'm not saying that I've ever carried at work. My company, it's kind of a don't ask, don't tell policy. As far as I can tell, it's not discussed at all in the company handbook. As far as firearms on premises or anything like that. I do know that firearms are not allowed in company vehicles, but I don't drive a company vehicle, so it's never been an issue for me as far as that goes. And as far as people carrying at work concealed or anything like that, it's always been don't ask, don't tell. Now, I will say this with my Shield and my Alien Gear Shapeshift, the 4.0, the inside the waistband with the two clips. If I did carry at work, nobody'd know. That thing just disappears. Even if I tuck my shirt in, and I have to wear my shirt tucked at work. But even if I did ever carry, I don't think anybody'd ever know. But it's just, that's not a conversation I want to have, and that I don't want to be the reason it gets put into the handbook, I guess, either. So that's kind of a different situation there. But then at the same time, if it's the second of the month and I'm open carrying, it could be either one. But if it's my day off, I don't have to worry about my job being in jeopardy. Then I don't care if I print a little bit. I of course I have to follow the laws. I don't carry my gun anywhere that federal or state law prohibits. Because in the state of Nebraska, if it's posted, then it's legally binding. I know some states, they can post no firearms, but they can't legally bar you from actually carrying. They can just say, hey, we don't want you carrying, and if you make a scene, then you have to leave because then you're guilty of trespassing. But not in Nebraska. In Nebraska, if they have the sign posted on the door that says no firearms, no concealed carry, and you get caught, that's a misdemeanor, and they normally will give you a slap on the wrist for the first offense. The second offense, you lose your carry permit, you don't get it back. So that's just not a chance I'm willing to take. I've come too far, put all the money into taking my course, getting the permit, started carrying the Glock 19, bought the Shield because it conceals better. Got that proverbial drawer full of holsters, some of which I don't even use anymore, and I think we're probably going to end up maybe doing a giveaway, throw a holster or two in, which will be kind of handy because the G19 and the Shield are both pretty popular, so chances are pretty good that whoever wins can find a use for the holster if I end up sending one out the door. I don't have as much for the Shield that I don't use. Just got a couple. I tell you what, I've got the ones I might do on a giveaway. They're Nate Squared holsters. If you've never checked out Nate Squared, I mean, this is high quality stuff. It's good stuff. I don't like the way that you have to twist your wrist to draw the gun to get it away from its retention. It's Nate. Two guys named Nate started this company. I can't remember their last names, but so they just called it Nate Squared. It's a letter N, a number 8, and a 2. Nate Squared. 2 superscript if it's written out right. But the website, just letter N, number 8, 2. I don't know if it's 8 squared holsters or what it is .com, but if you just search N82 in a Google search, you're gonna find them. And they've got single clip, inside the waistband holsters. It's got a full backer. The backer cover, the whole gun butt grip, everything is up against the backer, so it's super, super comfortable. This thing is padded. There's neoprene in there inside. It's got a nice soft, supple tan finish on the side towards the gun, and a suede, rough leather, or the rough side of the leather, full grain. But it's not rough against your skin, up against you, and then the edges are bound. They're trimmed out. Very, very comfortable holsters to carry. But I just don't prefer the system with the clip on the outside edge of the holster. I think it bulges your waistband out a little bit extra. And then the way that the gun is held in the holster, the plastic, whatever, Bolteron or whatever it's called, it hooks the front edge of the trigger guard, and it clicks into place. I mean, it really does snap into place when you holster the gun. But then to draw it, you can't just draw straight up. You actually have to twist your wrist and twist the butt of the gun towards your side, so that it twists that trigger guard away from where it catches on the holster there. And it's just not comfortable for me, and so I don't carry it very often, or use it very often to carry. I've got one for the Glock, one for the Shield, so I might have to do something to send those. They're slightly used, but no wear. You can just see the imprint of the slide serrations from the gun, up against the leather. Got a Serpa for the Glock that I don't know that I necessarily need to keep. So, but I tell you what, Night Wolf, anybody else watching, thanks for joining me. But we are home now. So as we pull into the garage, I am going to wish everybody a good night. Thanks for hanging out with us again as we're driving home on a Sunday. You guys kept me awake. Thanks to Sandhills Sweetheart for helping me keep up with comments. Don't know when I'm going to be doing my next live broadcast. Who knows? I'm going to probably end up being the guy that just up and decides to do it sometimes. So I will I'll sign off for now. Everybody have a good night, and God bless.